the eccentric is more important than the concentric.
Try telling that to everyone in the gym in 2023. You wouldn't believe it, right?
Just lift it, bro.
They just, do you know what? It's if we look at like the science behind it, like we are stronger on an eccentric. The simplest way I explain this to clients in early days or people that don't understand that concept is I always say, imagine training to concentric failure on, doesn't matter, bench press, bicep curl. We use a bench press as an example, right? If I stand over you and help you at concentric failure, pick up that bar, you will be able to continue to perform more eccentrics, right?
Yeah.
Quite a few more as well, more than you. I think Charles Poliquin, if I remember the stat, something like 1.75 times, nearly twice as strong. That's significant. Yeah. That's not 1.1. That's nearly twice as strong. So to me, just knowing that stat alone, I sit there and would always question and go, why are you wasting it? I watch people waste that eccentric. The concentric goes up and they just drop it into that bottom position and it's just wasted.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things, right? It's like literally if you're allowing gravity to do the work for you, then you're literally missing out on half the gains, isn't it?
If not more, if we use those stats.
If there's a lift and a lowering phase and you don't care about the lowering, then exactly that, right? You're only benefiting from the lift, which doesn't make sense at all. And like you said, you know, the first thing is that, you know, your muscles don't care about and they don't understand the weight on the bar. It doesn't understand the number of reps. What it understands is tension. Mechanical tension is the #1 driver for hypertrophy. To get the most amount of tension on the muscle, you need to lift and control the lowering phase. And then we know that the second most important factor for hypertrophy is muscle damage. And the most amount of muscle damage occurs during the eccentric phase as well. So now we've ticked off two of the most important factors for hypertrophy.
I think that, I don't know if like something I've observed from coaching clients though, frequently, so not as a one-off, something that's like as in very, very frequently, is people see reps in the gym as like some sort of target.
Yeah.
So if you talk about, you know, rep ranges and like if they've got on a plan 10 reps, 8 to 10 reps, I never really tend to use ranges. So 8 to 10, 10 to 12, whatever I'm programming. And they get pissed off if it's 10 to 12 and they get an 11.
Yeah.
If to them it's like a target to hit 12, and I can't help but think that what happens a lot of the time is towards the end of the set, which we know are the reps that truly count when you are reaching concentric failure. And then you're still controlling those eccentrics, so we've got all that tension where it needs to be. They're still just trying to then just rush the concentric because they're trying to tick off the numbers game. It's a numbers game of just trying to tick that box. And I think that for me as a take home is something that people need to just, it's a mindset that needs to shift. You need to understand those reps towards the end of the set. Aren't you then trying to rush to hit 10 or 12 or whatever you think that magic number is? That's where the magic is happening. Yeah. And by trying to hit that magic number, you're just wasting it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's where that also plays into like intensity, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because that's where the set, that's the intensity that you need to grow. Is those, you know, when the set becomes harder and harder to complete, harder to control on the way down, and you're fighting it. That's, you know, it doesn't matter what weight is on the bar, as long as it's intense for the amount of reps that's intended to be performed.
100%. And do a set. I mean, I've done some horrific tempos in my time. Some of my default setting on an eccentric's 3 seconds. Right? I don't think about my eccentrics when I'm performing.
That's like a standard.
Standard rep. If I'm repping anything, it's 2 to 3 seconds, right? It's like that's the default rep speed. Now, slow these down. Oh my God. I've had 5 second eccentrics on a squat before. I've had 5 second eccentrics on a bench press before.
8 seconds on a deadlift, bro, is absolute murder.
But the pump afterwards, the amount of blood that's in that muscle afterwards, the feeling you get, the actual connection you get when you are truly controlling that weight for that time, it's unbeatable.
Yeah, and then that brings us to exactly that. The third most important factor for hypertrophy is metabolic stress, right? Which is the pump. So,
chasing the pump.
Exactly. So by focusing on controlling the eccentric, you're going to tick all of those 3 factors all those three things that are necessary for maximum hypertrophy.
5 seconds left.
So
slow down your fucking reps.
slow down the fucking reps.